Can't stand the heat? Head to the Ice Golem. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and it is a sweltery September here in Minnesota. It is almost 90 degrees today, and honestly, I have no idea why. It is September. It is not supposed to be 90 degrees. That, I believe, is illegal, but regardless, it is really, really warm here, but I figured we're going to cool off, and we're going to tackle the Ice Golem. Now, we are on my free-to-play, and one of my challenges here, if we actually take a look at the missions right behind me, not the Ramontu mission, I'm still stuck on fusing rosin here, but we have clear hard mode Ice Golem peak 20. And as you can see, I've finally done it once. Yes! Now, I've actually been experimenting with the team a little bit, and I believe I've got a team that should be 100% or near 100%. So I want to kind of go over my reasonings for it, and also kind of show you why I'm probably not going to run it too often, because it does take a little while, spoilers. But what I could do to improve it, maybe I'll talk on my main about stuff, probably not. We'll probably just kind of talk about how to progress into hard Ice Golem and see what we can do about that. So let's get talking. So, what is difficult about the hard Ice Golem? Well, if we take a look at the boss guide here, for the most part, it's the Ice Golem. So we get the decreased accuracy occasionally. Those are, yeah, that's the other stuff. The big thing here is he is now immune to poison and poison sensitivity, but receives 10% more damage from HP burn debuffs. And that means that even if they are on the ads, you get HP burn damage on him as well. Plus, that actually eats the max HP of the minions as well. So his minions will slowly but surely just die off and have less HP, which means that they will be less tanky to be able to kill them off early. If they regenerate, they'll be less tanky as well. It's not perfect because in some cases you don't want them to die. In fact, honestly, the ideal scenario for you is to make sure that they do stay alive long enough to keep burning down the boss. And why are we looking for all this stuff? Well, the big problem you have here is we've got the Frozen Reckoning right here. Frozen Reckoning is when he gets to 80, 60, 45, 30, and 15%, he will counterattack and revive his dead allies. So ignores 50% of defense for each alive ally, so he ignores 100% defense and makes this a true damaging attack when he hits with this ability if they are both alive. So it's kind of a weird balancing act where you want both of the minions alive, except for if he's going to get one of these retaliation attacks. But he only does these things when an enemy attack drops him or some other enemy action drops him. So if he gets over this threshold from burns, he won't do this. But you need to basically understand that there's a good chance that you're going to trigger this once or twice at minimum with almost any run. So you need to be able to survive it as best as possible. Now, some of the obvious options are to have champions that have lots of max HP and lots of defense so they can survive this hit in general. Although again, he's ignoring defense, so defense is not always the best option. You can use things like shield. You can use things like unkillable. You can certainly bring revivers to help pick your team back up. But honestly, doing damage with burns, unfortunately, poisons used to be the key for this in normal mode, but poisons do not work anymore in hard mode. They do, however, kill the ads, so you could certainly bring some poisons and kill the ads and just kind of try to weather these counterattacks, but it is much, much safer if you can figure out how to just deal with the ads in general. Now, you also have to worry about the fact that the ads, which I don't think it is mentioned in here as well, I probably have to go down here a little further, but the ads will actually put up block healing on your team as well. So you want to be able to get rid of that block healing or be able to resist it or deal with it in some other way, shape, or form. So that's going to be champions with high resistance will be helpful, or block debuffs will be useful, or cleansing will be useful as well. So with all of those strategies in mind, we're going to talk about the challenges that my account at the moment, this free-to-play at least, has with this particular boss. And here is my problem in a nutshell. I don't have a lot of HP burn champions. I have Brogni, but since I have him on my clan boss team with my Geomancer, I don't have him with enough accuracy to consistently land his burns, which are only on the A1, and honestly only a 60% chance fully booked. So this is not a reliable HP burn, let alone one that is going to spread and overall be very helpful for this particular boss. I've got Geomancer, who has this wonderful reflect burn, which to be fair, would be kind of useful if I can consistently get this on the boss and the other ones get other burns, but I can't really consistently do that. Plus, I need to figure out ways to use him outside of just the boss stage, and that is definitely a bit of a challenge at the moment. I've got Direct Star as an option, but you'll notice he's not 6 stars yet, which means he is a death waiting to happen against the boss because, yeah, he's got, almost 40k HP. That's just not enough. If I'm worried about my Geomancer here with almost 60k HP for surviving, then I'm definitely going to be worried about a Direct Star, and I could just make him 6 star, but again, he doesn't do burns actively quite as much. You need to attack him constantly. Now, he'll get the burns up, not too bad. He could probably solo some stuff if you put him in some regen gear, but hard is a different animal, and it's probably not great for him. Now, if we look at the rest of these champions here, none of them are really AoE burners. Some of them are single target, or in her case, she is random 3 targets, I believe. Yep, random 3 targets. Not something you want that's particularly reliable, and it's only a 75% chance when booked, which, to be fair, my Selena Night Cloak is booked, but that would be taking a mediocre rare, and again, she's actually good for a rare, but she's mediocre on the account as the account stands right now, all the way up to 6 stars. I would have to figure out how to make her super tanky, and I'd need to bring those burns and hope that they are reliable. Now, she does have some other abilities to keep her alive. She heals based off of HP burns. She increases the duration of these HP burns, which can be kind of nice. She gets extra turn meter when burns activate. So she actually has a pretty solid kit. So if that's the only option, I guess you could certainly use that. But in my case, my only really good option is Tyrant. And Tyrant has been in my clan boss for a while, but he's still a very viable champion. And I've got him here in my, let's get him out of the vault here. I've got him with some defense and some more defense here. Honestly, I probably should get a little bit of HP on him, but I've got him in this Relentless build, which was honestly the build I built him in ages ago. It's been glyphed up a little bit. I've certainly probably given him some better accessories, but overall, his stats are pretty solid. I've got him fairly fast at the 247, got a decent amount of accuracy, good amount of HP, lots of defense, which is good because he is, he's an HP based champion. So I guess I probably really should get a little bit of HP in here. So maybe I could see if I could get a little bit of HP on one of these pieces. Maybe I can. In fact, let's go see if I can actually do that, because I think that might actually help this build just a little bit. There we go. So I lost a little bit of speed, but didn't change much on the accuracy overall. And I lost some defense and gained some HP. So now I'm at almost 70k HP, as well as I'm a little down to the 4,200 defense. It's still perfectly fine. Again, to be fair, that was an old build from a long time ago. You know, losing a little bit of speed, didn't lose any accuracy. I was worried about losing accuracy and speed, which I would have if I'd swapped the chest out. You still want good defense on an HP-based champion because that does help mitigate damage quite a bit. But basically, he is my only burner here, and he brings the HP burn debuffs here as well. But one of the cool things that he does that's actually going to be helpful for this boss is he decreases the damage of enemies under HP burn by 10%. So he gives me a little bit of extra damage mitigation against the boss. So Tyrant is going to be very, very useful here. Plus, I can work with this ally protection and increase defense as well to help survive, especially if the boss is not going to be hitting through all of the defense. And honestly, if the boss counterstrikes and kills Tyrant and nobody else because of this ally protection, then he's done his job and I'll just have to pick him back up. So let's go take a look at the team that I've built. We'll talk about why it's good, why it's bad, and we'll give you a run through so you can take a look and see how it works. So here we go. Here are the 5 champions I have chosen to be my Ice Golem Hard team. We're only talking about Ice Golem Hard 2. Why 2? Because, well, I guess I could maybe beat 1, but 2 is Void, so that is going to be easier overall. I can bring any champion I want. I don't have to worry about any affinity issues. I don't really need to push up any further than that. It just needs to be higher than 1 for the quest. And honestly, I didn't feel like going much further because this team is not very fast. But we got Tyrant here. We've got him with the Hellfire Torrent, so he is going to be giving these HP burns. He's got the Infernal Minions here for some defense as well. That's why I built him for some defense too, because he does damage based on defense, even though he's an HP-based champion. Weird champion, but still, I want him to be survivable in this particular form, so actually nerfing the damage a little bit and giving him some more survivability is overall going to make him a better champion for this particular team. So we have him leading off with the Hellfire Torrent on the waves for round 1 and round 2. I don't want him to be constantly using this because I want this to be a big priority on round 3 against the boss, because I want to make sure he gets this out first and foremost, because I want to make sure that burns happen. He also heals himself on the A1, which is going to help keep him alive, especially if they're under burn. That's going to be even better. And then, of course, we're going to be putting that ally protection out there. Because he is in Relentless and nobody else is, he'll be putting that ally protection out a little more consistently than he might otherwise, so it should be up not necessarily 100% of the time, but it should be up a lot of the time. He's still very fast as well. He'll also get the burns out just a little bit more, and of course he'll get a chance to heal with this A1 occasionally, which will be very helpful as well. We of course have Brogni here as well. Brogni is pretty much do whatever you need to do, get through this stage. On this stage, I do not want you to use this shield because I want to save this to be ready for round 3. And then on round 3, we're going to start off with this, which is going to give us the block debuffs and the shield, and of course the increased attack. Not that I really need the increased attack. It does help Brogni do some damage, but honestly, none of these other champions are getting a lot of extra damage out of that increased attack. We also do have a cleanse here. It is a 1 random debuff cleanse, but this can keep the block healing off of people, and of course it grows the shields. And you'll notice another shield champion on this team as well. We've got Donatello on here, and my Donatello is not fully booked. His A1 is almost fully booked. Yes, thank you, Polarium. But he is not booked at all for the most part. This is got on a 6-turn cooldown. This is on a 5-turn cooldown. This is honestly the skill I want. This is the increase the turn meter, so everyone gets another turn, get the continuous heals out there, get the strengthen out there to keep everyone alive, and cleanse everybody to make sure that there's no block healing on there as well. Then this is just kind of nice because you get, whatever AoE attack, you get increased speed, doesn't suck, and you get the cooldown reset, which can be very helpful to keep everyone alive and breathing as well. And then of course we got the A1 that's going to bring out some extra healing and continuous heals as well. He is fully mastered. He is level 50 of 60. He is also in Relentless. As you can see, he's got a bit of resistance as well. I'd like to get more on him. I do need to glyph him up further, and I can probably get him to be faster and more resistant with more HP. Plus, again, as he levels up, he's got, 10 more levels. He'll probably get another 5k to 10k HP and another, 200 to 400 defense possibly as well, just from leveling up overall, which will make him much more survivable as well. But he's generally fairly tanky. We want him to basically focus on the Secret of the Ooze for the A3, but because this is a cleanse and the other team needs to take a turn before a cleanse is useful, I want to make sure that he leads off with this A1. That'll get a little extra healing to make sure everyone's alive, and I don't really want him using this just to start because it's possibly a waste because we've already set up other champions to have this ready to go. So what should happen is he should lead off with this, then he'll do his cleanse, then he will do the reset at some point in time. And yeah, he's in Relentless, so there's occasionally a chance where he will do this 1 turn early. I'm willing to live with that problem. We've got my Valkyrie here. Valkyrie is got no real presets. Now, the counterattack is not necessarily the best thing to have on here, but the counterattack gives me a chance to get burns out with Brogni occasionally if he gets absolutely lucky. He doesn't have enough accuracy to land it, but he has a chance. It gets Donnie's extra healing involved because you get that big AoE heal every time his A1 happens. You get Tyrant healing himself with his A1 as long as he's hitting somebody with burn. Well, actually, he doesn't have to hit him with burn. Burn just heals a little bit better. And of course, you get Sill's A1 out there, which gives you some turn meter control and some decreased speed as well. She has this on a 3-turn cooldown because she is fully booked, but she also has reflex gear on, so about 40% of the time she gets this back and actually does this on a 2-turn cooldown. So the counterattack is almost always up. The shield is almost always up, and if her shield isn't up, Brogni's shield should be, and with Brogni's passive reflecting some damage, which can be very helpful to get the boss down a little bit faster, but also healing these champions back up by the damage the shield takes. Plus that shield is extra HP if this guy goes off and absolutely nukes everybody. Well, I've got triple protection on the shields and a lot of extra bonuses as well. So that is very good. Finally, we have Valkyrie here. Valkyrie, as you'll see here, I have prioritized her revive just because I know that Valkyrie will sometimes like to do this ability instead of her revive if you're not careful. So if anyone's dead, I want her reviving them ASAP. Otherwise, having her stun the ads is perfectly fine. It's nice that it's only a 35% chance, but it is fully booked. 35% chance per hit, however. So this ends up being over a 50% chance to land a stun. That's going to generally land a stun on one of the two ads, hopefully maybe both of the ads, which is going to make life generally a bit easier because it's less damage we have to take from either of them, which is good, and it spreads the damage out a little bit overall. Otherwise, she's decreasing turn meter and putting decreased speed up. Again, that's not a bad option as well, but because we're going for a burn strategy, we don't mind if the enemy takes a few turns here or there because they need to take turns to trigger the burns because I don't have any burn ignition. And that's where we talk about some of the downfalls of this team. Because I don't have any really good way to have a squishy wave nuking champion who can die and then stay dead, I have to have a reviver on the team, which means I can't really bring somebody that's going to absolutely nuke down the boss because that's just going to get me killed more often than not. So the waves, very, very slow. That's actually one of the other reasons I did bring in Valkyrie. Valkyrie with 180 crit damage and a decent defense. This can do decent amounts of damage. This can do some okay amounts of damage. Brogni actually does some decent amounts of damage as well. And if we get the burns out as well, we can actually generally do a good amount of damage on the waves and still can keep them stunned, hopefully most of the time, as she's getting constant turns with her relentless gear as well. And there's an awful lot of relentless on this particular team, and it wasn't intentional, but it just happens to be how the builds work. So and against the boss, we're just generally hoping to stay alive. To be fair, I want Brogni to grow the shield and use this cleanse. Otherwise, I would think of maybe turning this off just to not do the AoE nuke that Brogni does, because he is built with crit rate and crit damage. But overall, I think the growth in the shield is worth the additional damage we're going to do on that. And, we will see how it works. Now, this is, again, not going to be fast, but what we're looking for is consistency. And to be fair, I only need to make 19 more runs of this successfully on auto. I think I have to do it on auto before I am done with that particular quest. And will it get faster in other ways? Yes, I think Donatello getting fully booked and getting up to a level 60 will speed this up quite a bit, because that will give me not only slightly better healing and a little more damage, but the books will give me a little more skill resets, which will make the more impactful skills go that much more often. And I think that's going to overall speed up the run. But what else can I do to speed this up? Well, if I can get a burn igniter of some kind, that would be very helpful as well. Or somebody that does both, like an Artak would have been absolutely amazing. It's a reason I pulled for Artak during an event where he was raised in chances. He would be absolutely amazing. Artak is great for soloing the boss. You still have to get there, but once you're there, you can use him to solo the boss, and there's plenty of great options for you there. We also have other things like a Sulfurion can do a really good job, but honestly, anybody that can ignite burns can make this significantly faster. Plus, if I were to, example, have some sort of seer comp, I could actually maybe change my Tyrant into some sort of regeneration gear instead and just have Tyrant try to stay alive while the other enemies just kind of die after clearing the wave against the boss. So there's other ways to slowly but surely make this better, but on an account that's progressing, sometimes you have to make compromises. Now, why would I want to do this? Before we show you the run, the reason why I might want to do this is, well, first of all, we're going to have missions where I'm going to have to farm this anyway. And as you can see, this team is not particularly fast. But on top of that, retaliation gear, not horrible. Reflex gear, very good. Cursed gear, it's useful to have a couple of really good sets, particularly if you've got champions like Krisk, where you can actually put it on him and he will absolutely dominate Hydra in a good cursed set. Provoke set, it's good to have a couple of those for Hydra as well as hard faction wars. So provoke set can be very helpful for you as well. These sets are good. They are certainly not the best meta sets, and they're not the sets that you necessarily need the absolute best gear in, but it's nice to have a couple of very good enough sets, and that involves farming every dungeon, including Ice Golem, which a lot of people do not like to farm. Plus, we have all of these fusions we're doing. Why not learn to farm Ice Golem and get something cool out of it while you're getting another champion that can hopefully help your account through a fusion as well. So with that said, we are going to run this team here, and I'm not going to make you sit through the entire waves, but just to kind of see what kind of damage we're talking about here, we're just not doing a ton of damage here on the waves because we're just not. So we're already back to Syl getting her AoE stun back. The enemy team hasn't had a chance to take a turn yet, because honestly, I am really fast compared to how slow they are on level 2. So, but hey, we're 30 seconds in, and we're almost halfway done with one of the enemies. So we'll get back to the end of the next wave, and then we'll kind of talk about how it's going to go against the boss. All right, so we're 2 minutes and 40 seconds-ish into this run. As you can see here, we are just about to down the second wave here. This second wave is definitely a little rougher than normal, because you've got, what's his name? I can't remember his name anymore, but the Void legendary, the Ogren tribe, who puts some freezes out occasionally. So he makes it a little bit slower because you get frozen occasionally. It does help to have the block debuffs up when you can, but it's not 100% up all the time, as you can see. So, in fact, actually, it's not up at all, because we do have Brogni's A2 turned, or A3 turned off. So here we go. We got the stuns on the bosses and on the allies there. Boss takes a turn. We get a little bit of extra counterattacks. Does not suck too much. Would like to have some burn on the boss as well, but we don't have it. But the decreased speed, I'll take the decreased speed as well. We get a couple of reset skills here. And yeah, so this is kind of how it goes. And here we are, 3 minutes, 30 seconds in. We've got a little bit of down on the boss. But overall, it's going to be slow going. So I will check in probably in about another 100 turns, and we'll take a look and see how long this run's going to last. Okay, so we just got hit by the Retribution. The editor can probably leave that Retribution in as well. And as you can see, Tyrant died because we had Ally Protection up, and he was the only one that died. Everyone else is still alive, so we just need, Valk there to, or not Valk, but Syl there to pick him up. Now, you might be wondering why Donatello's passive didn't prevent him from dying, and that's because he didn't die from a direct hit. He died from the Ally Protection, and Donatello's passive doesn't actually cover the Ally Protection damage. It only covers a hit's damage, which is one of the ways that's around that particular style of passive, but it means that he is working just fine. And it does still mean that people are less likely to die from the retributive hit directly, but it means that eventually, your ally protector still has a good shot of dying here. So, hey, 5 minutes in, 186 turns in, we're below 50%, so we're actually cooking pretty well here. So maybe the extra HP on Tyrant helped just a little bit, so we're doing a little less damage and doing a little more burn damage. But we'll check in and see at the end of this fight. And here is the danger of having a fight like this, where if you get unlucky and the minions happen to be up when you get an attack, what the editor can actually hopefully stick around for that there. Well, everybody but Tyrant died because Donnie's passive procced. But we fortunately had it proc at the end, and Tyrant was able to burn down the boss at the end, which was absolutely amazing. But that tells me that I don't think I can trust this to be 100% done just yet. So, that's fine. I don't plan on running it a lot, but it seems to get the job done. Well, so far it's done it twice, and it seemed mostly safe enough the first run. That second run was a little sketchy, but at least it triggered at the end. And I think, again, as I continue to improve Donnie, I think that this will slowly but surely get better, because we'll get a little more healing. We'll get those strengthens out a little more often, which I think should help keep people alive as well. And I think overall we'll have a good team that is certainly available here. Now, one of the things I could do to possibly make this team a little bit better is I could bring in a Lydia to block the revive of the minions. But again, we want the minions alive to get the burn procs from Tyrant on both of the minions to burn down the boss. He receives extra damage from HP burns from anybody. And so if you can get 3 burns proccing per turn instead of just 1, that is going to burn down the Ice Golem boss a lot faster. So, but this is kind of the theory of what you're looking for in an Ice Golem team. You are either looking for something super tanky like this, hoping you don't really trigger Retribution, or you are looking to get those burns out there and keep igniting them until the boss just dies from sheer exhaustion from all of the burn damage. So this was my team for Ice Golem. I hope you appreciated it. I hope you understood some of the theories for it, and hopefully you can find ways to put some of your own champions in there. One of the champions that would work instead of Tyrant if you are desperate for a burner, for example, is Akoth. Akoth right here is a demon spawn champion, and he has AoE burns on him. They're not the greatest burns, but they're an option. And again, I talked about possibly using Directstar Blood Twin, or honestly, if I didn't have my Tyrant, I might actually think about using Geomancer and just kind of living with the fact that I wouldn't get burns on everybody all of the time, and maybe seeing if that would give me some help. Other things that would be helpful for that team as well would be things like decrease attack on the boss, would mean that he is doing less damage with those retributive hits, which is going to make them easier to survive as well. So there are other things you can do to mitigate all the damage. Just, you know, there's only so many champions I can bring into a fight, and given the roster I have, those were the champions that I chose to bring in. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed having a look at ways that you can tackle hard Ice Golem. Hopefully it inspires you to maybe give it a try. And again, sometimes it makes more sense to farm stage 20. And for this account, I'm probably still going to farm stage 20 most of the time. But now that I know I can beat that stage on stage 2, well, the next 18 more runs of my Ice Golem teams are probably going to be on that stage, maybe an extra 1 or 2 just because things might die, to get that mission done. Because I can tell you right now, some of these challenges and some of these missions, let's get to the actual missions of course, well, some of these things I can do without a problem. Earn Mortal Soul from selling souls in my collection, that's doable. Finish in the top 20 of a tournament group, that's doable. I do that constantly. Equip Ascendant, I've already done that. So there's a lot of stuff in here that are rewards that are hidden behind something I can actually do. So let's go push for this stuff, get some of these good rewards, and you know, it's a great way to continue to advance the account. As we've done a video before, I've actually done hard mode Fire Knight. In fact, I will link that video at the end of this video if you want to check out my hard mode Fire Knight team. So I am good all the way through, well, mythical dungeons. Yeah, I am actually good to really, really far into this first track, just if I can get past Ice Golem. Here we go. Here is the first break. Ice Golem Hard 3 near the end of this track. That's going to be the next hard thing for me to get past on this account. So plenty of extra rewards, plenty of things in progress to make towards Marius. I'm not going to get Marius anytime soon, but you know, don't take the eye off the ball on some of these long-term projects, because if you don't bother working on them, you're never going to just finish them anyway. So sometimes you need to dedicate a little bit of time and a little bit of energy, and you can get yourself some really cool free champions. Appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Much love, everyone. You're one of the best communities in Raid and in all of gaming. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. I love making guides and videos like this and just talking with you guys and having some fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. So until the next video, I am Bront CatHerder.